Hey, this is my first Patriot report since the historic election of Donald J. Trump as the president elect of these United States of America. In my humble opinion, that represents a significant change in the theater. And you all know my philosophy. When there is a change in the theater, it offers an opportunity for you to change the game. I'm going to talk to you about how you, if you're a service disabled veteran, can change the game in your favor. I'm also going to provide you an example, an empirical example of what you should be doing in this season if you are a service disabled veteran. And that example is going to equally equip you with an understanding of what you should not be doing if you're a small disadvantaged business in this season. All that and more on this installment of my Patriot Report.
Baby blue, just like we rehearsed. When I get up off this ground, I shake leaves back down to the brown, 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 till I'm clean.
And so, without any further ado, let me pause that for a second to kind of set the stage for it, because you all may remember Ratwan Hill as the young at-risk veteran that became a protege of mine as he accepted the call to action to become a service disabled veteran. And when I say he accepted the call to action, I'm saying that because this was the value proposition. I said to Mr. Hill, listen, if you're trying to do something, and I mean like really do something you've never done before, you have to be willing to become someone you've never been before. In the first installment of his Patriot Report, he demonstrated the willingness to make the mid-course adjustment in all of the areas of his life necessary to achieve that goal. In this installment of the CEO at the gas pump, what Mr. Hill demonstrates is, one, the uptake that he's had on the information that I've shared with him, and he's equally demonstrated the ability to innovate on it as he provides an interview with a family member of his that results in an outcome that everyone that's within the sound of my voice who is a disabled veteran or a small disadvantaged business should be considering. I'll pop back in from time to time to curate this video to show you the finer points that Mr. Hill is attempting to point out. Without further ado, allow me to introduce you, or let me restate that. Let me introduce some of you to Mr. Ratwan Hill.
I promise you, baby, that love and nothing less. Supreme truth, the only lesson, let knowledge be the test. I promise you, baby, that love and nothing less. Supreme truth, the only lesson, let knowledge be the test. I promise you, baby, that love and nothing less. Supreme truth, the only.
Welcome to CEO at the Gas Pump, where leadership, entrepreneurship, and strategy sparks real-world conversations. With me today, I have Mr. Darren Hunter, who has been doing business in the federal contractor space. Full transparency, guys. This is my family member. This is my cousin, big cousin. So without further ado, Mr. Darren, how's it going, cuz?
And before they go any deeper, I want you to take a look at exactly what this young veteran has done. They say charity begins at home and spreads abroad. He started with his family member and is delivering a strategy that you need to consider. Darren, take it away.
Awesome, man. How you doing, good? You all right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm well. I'm quite well. So for the viewers, can you give us a rundown on your background? Tell us your upbringing. How did you get started?
Well, actually, I started working for a company called NEPAT, and they were a non-emergency transportation company out of Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And once I got with them, I stayed there, and I started off at the bottom, of course, as just a driver. I worked my way up, actually became a lead within a year. Then within a couple of years, I became manager. So I managed Greensboro, North Carolina. I managed that area. And then a few years down the road, the owner said, "Hey, well, I'm trying to get out the business." So I said, "Okay." So I bought the company. So, so this one of those things we just kind of started from the bottom, which a lot of people don't understand. It can happen. You just start from the bottom and work your way up. The person who worked the hardest win, and that's what happened. I just went in there and worked the hardest, and I found a love for something. Helping veterans. My father was a disabled vet. And I just found a passion for it, man, and I enjoyed going to work. I mean, when you enjoy it, it's much easier to
Mm-hmm.
make it
Mm-hmm.
happen and be successful in it. So um, after that, we were doing nursing homes and uh, facilities of that sort, and I just said, hey, it's got to be something else. It's got to be more money in this thing. So I started doing my research, and once I did my research, um, I found that, oh, okay, well, I can subcontract. I can subcontract for the VA, and so I looked into it. I started reaching out to a lot of the prime contractors for the VA, and of course I connected. First, it was hard, no one was responding or whatnot, and then I got a call one day, and someone that just got the contract in Salisbury, North Carolina, and when they got the contract, they called me and said, "Hey, are you available?" And that's how I begun. I said, "Okay, here is what I've been looking for."
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much the rundown of my federal contract, and I've been doing that ever since. It's been about 4 years now that I have been in that space, and I
Mm-hmm.
love it. I mean, and the opportunity to grow is out there, and I'm sure you're gonna tell me how we're going to.
Yeah.
I like the laughter there because Darren knows exactly what Ratwan Hill is going to talk to him about. But what I wanted to accentuate was the fact that what Mr. Hill did was novel, right? He found a niche, he found a business area that he enjoyed, and it became a labor of love for him. And so he positioned himself in that business as a valuable asset, so valuable to the owner that the owner gave him the inside information on when he was preparing to sell the business. And what Mr. Hill or what Darren did was Darren struck up a deal to buy the business from that organization and then pointed it towards federal contracting. He started out as a subcontractor, and as he suggested, my young protege is going to explain to him that there's a better believable dream. Rituan, take it away.
So what I would like to know is, did you just like randomly say, "Oh, I'm gonna get into federal contracting," or was you introduced to it, or did you just had an upbringing where you had family members that were in the federal space and doing government contracting? Like, how did you get introduced to that federal contracting space?
Well, actually, I think I saw a vehicle uh, at one of my nursing homes that had the prime contractor's name on it. And, as an owner, you always talk to people, hey, how's it going? What's going on? I talk to them like I'm just a worker, just to kind of get a feel for how their business is going and what's going on. And the gentleman that I spoke to was like, hey, uh, we just do the VA. I was like, okay, awesome. You do the VA. So I just started looking into it, you know what I'm saying? What does the VA have? I mean, and then I ran across Sam's, I ran across everything. You'd be amazed what you find when you look for it. Just
Mhm.
things just start popping up, and then I just start going for it, just start going into it and looking more into it, and then even I went to Salisbury to look at the VA and see what was going on. I mean, I just started doing my research, man, and it paid off. It definitely did. It was the right thing to do.
I absolutely love the example that Darren just laid out because these are the parts, these are the components of the process that we usually don't get visibility to, right? What does it really take for you to become the owner of the business? And what Darren said is, he took the initiative upon himself to do the research. Why? Well, probably because the usual suspects weren't giving him the information, the guidance that he felt was going to be relevant. And so through his own efforts, right, he studied the SAM's environment. He learned how to get himself contract ready by registering with that particular environment. And then he just took a look at what was happening in his environment. He looked around and saw that there were vehicles like his that were doing work that he wanted to do, and he built relationships and a pathway to that market opportunity. Tell us a little bit more about how you became a qualified subcontractor in the federal
Yeah,
space.
that's great, man. So what I'm hearing you say is that, you just network in order to
Hey,
basically build relationships where you were able to, get your foot in the door
that's
and,
the
and, and
key.
get contracts.
Yeah, man, networking is the key, man. If you're afraid to talk to people, I mean, you'll be doing yourself a disservice because people are willing to tell you anything, if you're looking, and if it's the answer you need, you will find it if you research. I mean, today's world with the internet, man. I mean, everything's possible, and I just found out that they needed me just as much as I needed them. So it was just a perfect match, man. It just worked out, and I was excited about it, and I still am, man. Because I mean, once I got a prime and saw the amount of business that they were doing, it was astronomical to me. It was like, wow, the light came on. Like, okay, really, this is it's like finding a pot of gold. This is what I've been looking for. And I just I ain't been stopping since then. I mean, I still enjoy it, like I said, because I have a passion for the business. But I'm excited about the future.
Yes, sir. What's
And I
what's that
want you to pay attention to the smile that comes on young Mr. Hill's face, because I know what Mr. Hill's thinking because I put the information in his head, right? And Mr. Hill is thinking, wow, cuz if you're excited about that, what I can introduce you to is going to blow your mind. So sit back, relax, get yourself a snack, and enjoy the rest of this
saying?
conversation.
If you enjoy what you're doing, you'll never work a day in your life.
Hey, that's it. And my employees now, you know, they think that, you know, we ain't did this before. They think
Hmm.
that, hey,
Hmm.
we just sit behind the desk. But man, I get out there
Hmm.
and I have to show them, hey, this is what I do. This is what I enjoy doing. And it's always good to get out there anyway and talk to the people because the people will tell you how your business is going. You know, all the patients that we take, just in their drive to and from their destination, they'll tell you everything you need to know about your staff, about your employees. I mean, everything. So it works out great, man. I enjoy talking to them, man. Just, having a good time, man. And being of service, man. They was of service to us. And it's my duty to do that and treat them as such and give them the level of customer service that they expect and they deserve. So that's where I'm at.
I want to stop this right here because it's important for those of you that are watching this to understand that if Mr. Hill, right, a young service disabled veteran, can quickly acquire the know how necessary to participate in this federal contracting, this GovCon space in the way that he's doing it, everybody that's within the sound of my voice has the power to do the same. So use Mr. Hill as your example of understanding that you also have the ability to. Ratwan, continue.
Sure. Yes, sir. I like to hear that.
Yeah, man.
So you was doing this for 4 years. Uh, could you tell the viewers, the audience, how many contracts have you think you performed on? Like, give us a estimate, a rough estimate, and what's the what would you say was, the largest amount, if you don't mind sharing that with the audience that you saw, in a subcontract.
Well, in our space, I mean, of course, the contract, the prime gets the contract.
Right,
Okay,
right,
so
right.
all we do is assist. You know what I'm
Mhm,
saying? So
mhm,
we're not considered okay. You got the $1 million contract or the five
mhm,
million dollar
mhm,
contract. You know, we're
mhm, mhm,
subcontractors. So all we do is assist the prime. And I
mhm,
know the two primes that I've had, um,
mhm.
got the $5 million contracts. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Mhm,
And we come in just to assist in our area. And in
mhm,
our area,
mhm.
probably made 300,000 just off them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just
Okay.
assisting.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, that man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's considered doing decent, if you running the whole ship by yourself. But just by helping them out, we made that type of income. So I mean, it's yeah, that's about where we at. I mean, and like I said, me knowing what they do make, I'm excited to get there.
Mhm. So with you doing subcontracting for 4 years, have you thought about being a prime contractor or
Oh,
what's
man, I'm swinging every day to be a prime. That's
Mhm,
the
mhm,
goal. But you know what? Not the easy part. The good part about that is I know what it entails now. So
mhm,
when I make the right partnerships and get the contract, then it's just business as usual. You
mhm.
know, you know,
Yes,
it,
sir.
it it's
Yes,
what
sir.
I'm already doing. So, and of course, we have a name with the VA that I'm
Mhm,
servicing. So, I
mhm,
mean, they're comfortable about, hey, they can do it. We already know they can. And like I said, the customer service that we give, it's not going to go unnoticed. Because the vets love us, so that makes a difference. So, all I wanted to do was position myself to be able
mhm,
to just move right into that prime spot.
mhm. But
They say that success in business occurs where preparedness meets opportunity. And in this unique situation, it may be difficult for you to discern that there is a part of the preparedness on Darren's side of the equation that is enabled by the access to the customer that Mr. Hill has the ability to give him liberal access to. I want to reinforce that point because that's what you're seeing here, right? That's what you're seeing. You're seeing the convergence of two capabilities that creates a force multiplier that is going to change the economic future for both of these families forever. Ratwan, drop that science, man.
since you're working with the VA, uh, and you wanted to be a prime contractor for the VA, but you're having a hard time doing that because you're not a veteran. Is that a correct
That
statement?
that is correct. I'm not a veteran, and veterans get their top priority when it comes to the
Yes.
VA. So
Yes. Public Law 109-461, which
yes,
they
sir.
which basically gives the veterans the preference within the VA.
That's right,
Mhm, mhm,
and
mhm.
they stand on that. The
Yeah,
VA
yeah,
stands,
yeah.
and,
That's existing federal law. That's impeachable
hey,
law.
I'm telling you, I mean, and I think it's awesome. I mean, because like I said, they deserve it. So I mean,
Yeah.
but I like being able to form the partnerships to still get a piece of the pie. And that's what it's about because we still can get a piece of the pie. So
Yes,
that's what
sir.
we're working on.
Well,
And what's really interesting that differentiates the approach that we take to government contracting is simply this, right? Most of the people that are out there doing GovCon advising and training are taking credit for stuff that would have happened anyway, right? Any organization that beats their head up against this government contracting space eventually is going to break through and get a contract. What we are showing you in this example is a pathway, a capability that anybody with the know how can employ. And that's the missing element for most of the constituents, the stakeholders that are pursuing government contracting. I often say that my people suffer because of lack of knowledge. And it's a lack of knowledge because in many instances, it's the blind following the blind, right? It's people that don't have the vision, the forward leaning ability to see the pattern and react to the pattern, right? Well, I have done that. We have done that. And what Mr. Hill is showing you is a application of that intellectual strategy right before your eyes. Ratuan, show them how it's
I
done.
believe the best solution to that problem would be to, partner with a certain, well, not a service disabled veteran, but partner with me, who's a service disabled veteran, so we could help you streamline your process to winning prime contracts and increase that 300,000 to 30 million. Or, there's no box. We create it.
I agree. I agree. And and I accept.
Well, you heard that, audience. You guys heard that, from Mr. Darren Hunter himself. Cuz said he would like the partner. And what we have is a robust network of service disabled veterans that we're all working together to make this stuff happen. We have AI system that's built for government contract. It's not like Chat GPT. This is specifically built for government contract, and is built by subject matter experts in mind. So,
Exactly.
with that being said, Darren, so what's next for you? Are you looking to expand to other areas, or you're just focused on that North Carolina area right now?
Man, the sky's the limit, man. I'm
Mhm.
trying to go as far as I can reach.
Yes, sir.
It ain't no cap on my ceiling. My ceiling's wide open,
Mhm.
because I see Prime successfully do it every day. The last Prime that I had, I think they have 7 locations. Uh, they doing upward of 30 million a year, and like I said, I'm a good student. I sit back and I watch, observe. I see the platforms that they use to successfully do it, to do the logistics. I see exactly how they run their systems, and hey, it's like a franchise. I'm gonna repeat. I'm just gonna pick it up and repeat what I see the successful primes doing. So I'm comfortable. I'm very comfortable in this space, and I'm ready to take it to the next level. So
And
it's
so here's where I'm going to throw a strong caution out there, because if you're not paying attention to the dynamics that you're seeing on the screen here, you could be tripped up by this challenge. You could be tripped up by this gully, this cavern that is in front of Darren. And what gully or cavern am I talking about? Well, folks, let's just face it, right? There is a moratorium on race based contracting in the federal government. It's been in place for at least a decade and a half now. And that moratorium is starting to creep its way out in kinetic actions that are occurring at the courts, like the Ultima lawsuit that I talked to you about a little bit earlier, or the recent Tennessee court decision that has taken the attack on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and it's drilled it down to the state level. And I'll just share with you my high octane speculation, and that is that they are going to expand that moratorium. So, all of those small disadvantaged businesses out there that are certified by the Minority Supplier Council are in the crosshairs. Darren's saving grace is that he has a family member that's a disabled veteran, but not just any disabled veteran. He is a disabled veteran that has studied himself approved on the know how that empowers him with the ability to be a rising tide for his cousin and his family. Every veteran that's within the sound of my voice needs to listen closely to the strategy that Mr. Hill is delivering to his cousin rather, in this situation, because that strategy is available to you now that we've had this significant change, this significant disruption in the theater. And I'm urging you, everyone that's within the sound of my voice, to prepare to take full advantage of it. Ratwan, carry on.
So enjoy the ride, cuz.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, thank you, Darren, for joining me today. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, man.
Um,
Thank you.
yes, sir.
Just, you know,
Yes, sir.
and before I go, I want to say, man, what your network is doing is awesome, because what you're doing is allowing regular people to reach their dreams, man. I mean, you know, and a lot of people don't offer that. You know, a lot of people are secret to the secret to success is their secret. You know, they're not gonna say, "Hey, man, get with me, get with an organization, or get with a team that can bring things to the table even further than what you expect." Because I mean, what y'all doing, I wasn't even expecting. You know, and I mean, of course, the partnership, yes, but the things that y'all are doing and the knowledge that y'all have about the government and those things, man. I mean, it's awesome. It's perfect, man. And you know, y'all the right type of people, man. Y'all, you're good people. I mean, you know, you're very transparent. Yeah, I mean, and you do this every day. You're really trying to make a difference and introduce families to generational wealth. And that is what I'm excited about. You know, just being able to leave a legacy to my kids and their kids. So yeah, man. Hey, thumbs up, man, to y'all, man. Y'all keep doing what y'all doing. It's awesome, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. Well, guys, there you have it. Mr. Darren Hunter has been doing
Yes.
great business in the federal contracting space, and I look forward to our partnership.
Yes,
This
sir.
has been Red Twan Hill, and this has been another edition to CEO at the Gas Pump. Until next time, guys, thank you.
And so I'm going to go ahead and stop that right there because it, I believe, reinforces the message that I have made, and that is America wants its veterans to be rich. If that were not so, there would not be evidence pointing in that direction. And the evidence for us is mounting. It's mounting in the form of an administration that's coming in that tends to be hawkish on defense. And as my good friend Keith Moore, who is the operator of the Federal Procurement Center, often says, where there's policy, there's profit. But in this season, you have to have the know how in order to take advantage of it. We're going to be providing you access to that private knowledge that you can use to make sure that you get out of the mustard so that you can catch up. In this next installment, I'm going to unpack that statement that I made earlier in an earlier podcast about being the Wayne Gretzky of GovCon with a new segment that I am calling A Little Cotton in Your Ear. Y'all stay tuned. Well, it's time for me to introduce you to a new segment that I'm calling A Little Cotton in Your Ear. As I said, I define myself as the Wayne Gretzky of GovCon, and I want to give you some examples as to why I feel that way about myself. And I'm going to start with an example that I've been sounding the alarm on since 2020. No, 2020, when President Biden showed up at the 100th anniversary of the Black Wall Street massacre and made the promise to include small disadvantaged businesses in this 15% increase in contracting that he alluded to. In my humble opinion, when I watched that offer, when I watched that speech, it appeared to me that the president went off script, right? He went off the teleprompter when he said including black and brown businesses. And the reason that I thought he had went off script because I knew at the time that he made that statement that there was already a constitutional moratorium on race-based contracting. And so I started sounding the alarm, like with this article where I asked, does Biden really have the juice to pull off this 15% increase of small disadvantaged business spending? I honestly thought that the overture that Biden delivered was analogous to a dog whistle, because after he made that overture, it was like the roaches came out of the woodwork in the form of lawsuits attacking DEI, attacking affirmative action. But that's not the purpose of this conversation. The purpose of this conversation is for you to understand that there is a way that you can look out at the landscape of the ether that's in front of you and accurately define where it's migrating to. In this particular instance, I saw this overture migrating towards a head fake, a head pump that was designed to deliver a token to the Black business community, which was kind of the long hustle, right? The long con, they say, on the street to get the Black business community behind a Democratic reelection event. Well, let's look at the outcome of what's happened since then, right? We've got the Supreme Court case on affirmative action, right, which ostensibly increases the incline for organizations that utilize that type of strategy. We've had the Ultima lawsuit that found the remutable presumption in the applications for participation in that program to also be unconstitutional. And we've recently seen the court case against the Department of Transportation in Tennessee. The bottom line of what I'm trying to point your attention to is everybody that you think is your friend that offers you a blanket, as our Native American friends were offered during a season just such as this, is not always your friend. We are in a season where there is an opportunity, because of the material change in the theater, to change the game. And I'm encouraging every disabled veteran that's within the sound of my voice to get your arms around the solution that allows you to participate in this significant revitalization of the U.S. industrial base, the reshoring of our manufacturing assets, because I personally believe that America, being in the state that it is in, needs its servicemen and women to come back into service to ensure that we level the playing field, that we create a robust economic environment in these United States of America that serves our citizens. I get a little excited about this, as you can see, for generations, dare I say, millennials to come. So what's the essence of what I'm trying to deliver with this cotton in your ear episode? Study yourself approved is my message, is my warning, because if you don't understand the words that are coming out of the mouth of the leaders that you are giving your attention to, you're giving your vote to, you have the opportunity to become a victim of the underlying strategy that you don't understand. Well, that's about all for this episode of A Little Cotton in Your Ear. Until next time, Walter Cotton saying, I'm out.
Hey, yo, send me some of that.
Yeah, besides,
What?
like
Hey,
that.
yo, listen. We about to come down on this. Word up.
and a blast master KRS-One.
Yeah.
Yo, tell him.
The question is,
What is an AP?
the question is for all of y'all.
What is an AP?
Brooklyn, the question for you is,
What is an AP?
South Bronx, the question for you is,
What is an AP?
I'd like you to rise and put your hands together for brother KRS-One.
First of all, when I spit this verse to y'all, when I heard the call, Rocket T passed the ball. I'm asking y'all, what is an MC after all? A gun clapper, a rapper, a baller? I laughed at y'all. I'm in front of and in back of y'all. Rocket T standing tall while you whack rappers be at the mall. You plan to fall cause an MC you ain't. It's like saying you paint in a room with no paint. It's like saying you right on time when you late. If you an MC, you could rock any break. The pennies could wait, there's plenty of hate. Cause when it comes to lyrics, many are great, but even many more be fake. So here's what you need to know. Number one, you need a flow. Number two, you need a show. Number three, the business you need to know. Do for self, stay focused and try not to owe. Hey yo, my words they spread like mayo. MCing and hip hop go together like Legos or the logos. I keep you on the up and up like no-dos. Yo T, let's pose for these photos.
This brother's on the serious tip. This brother's gonna come out, he's gonna rock some of your foundations. He's coming to talk about the truth.